Sometimes we have to explain rather unusual names of syndromes and diseases to families. One of the most difficult ones is hereditary non-polyposis colon cancer, or HNPCC. We made this little clip to illustrate how difficult it is to explain this to a patient.
Well, hello, Mrs. Higginbottom, and welcome.
Hello, Dr Doscopy.
Now, I heard from my old friend in Edinburgh, Malcolm McTartan, that your brother had problems, had a kidney tumour. I'm sorry to hear that, but I was glad to hear that he successfully removed it. But apparently he had a couple of skin cancers called BCCs. So he did some genetic tests, and it turns out there's an inherited cause for the problem. Now, it might affect you, so we need to think about some screening tests.
What sort of inherited problem is it?
Well, we call it HNPCC. It's a bit of a mouthful, so let me just explain what that means. Now, the H stands for hereditary. Now, traditionally, we call things that run down through a family from one generation to the next hereditary.
Yeah, but our parents, they lived till they were really old. They went on safari on one of those saga holidays and they got killed by a stampede of elephants.
Well, yes, it's a bit confusing, but it doesn't have to be hereditary to be called hereditary. You see, your parents could have been non-penetrant.
Oh, they never had any problems of that sort.
No, you misunderstand. I mean, genetically speaking, they might. One of them might have been a carrier.
Yeah, oh yeah. Actually, I've got a friend who's a carrier of cystic fibrosis. Her baby died, but Ethel, she's a carrier. She's fine because she's just a carrier.
Yes. Yes. Yes, that's true for cystic fibrosis. You see, cystic fibrosis is what we call a recessive trait, and if you carry a recessive trait, it doesn't affect you. It's only if both parents have it and they both pass it on, the child gets it. So then you can get brothers and sisters affected, and we call that familial. But HNPCC, that's hereditary. Okay? Anyway, let's move on. The NP stands for non-polyposis, and that means that your brother didn't have familial adenomatous polyposis.
That's recessive.
No, that's dominant.
But you said...
I know. Well, the thing is that the surgeons who originally named it didn't understand the difference. Familial adenomatous polyposis is hereditary.
But he didn't have it.
No.
And why mention it?
Well, because we knew about that first, and it causes inherited cancer.
Cancer of the kidney.
No, of the bowel.
And why mention it?
Well, because that was the first type of inherited cancer that we knew about.
Cancer of the kidney?
No, cancer of the bowel.
Then why?
No, never mind. The important thing is that your brother didn't have familial adenomatous polyposis, and you don't either. At least you're no more likely than I am to get familial adenomatous polyposis.
Well, what's the CC stand for?
The CC stands for colon cancer.
But my brother had kidney cancer.
Yes, but in fact it's more likely that he gets colon cancer, and in fact you might get colon cancer, so we need to check your colon.
And my kidneys?
No, just your colon, because the kidney type is quite rare, so we don't check for that.
So I might have hereditary non-polyposis. That thing. So I need my colon examining.
And your uterus.
The uterus?
Well, yes, because if you carry this, then you might get endometrial cancer. That's what we call cancer of the uterus. In fact, that's actually, if you're a woman who carries this, you're slightly more likely to get endometrial cancer than you are to get colon cancer.
Well, why don't they call it hereditary endometrial cancer?
I really don't know. But that's the way it is, so I think let's just move on, shall we? So we need to organise for you to come in for a colonoscopy and to have a scan of your uterus. Okay?
Right. It's complicated, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah. So I might have this HNPCC.
Well, you might have, because your brother hadn't, and it's a bit of a mouthful, as I know, as you can see. So if you like, you can call it Lynch syndrome, because that's its other name.
Oh, Lynch syndrome! I've heard about that. That was that family that was in a journal I read once. family called Warty or Warfin or something from America.
That's right.
And
That's right. That's, yeah.
There were, she was a laundry woman or something, and the
That's right.
doctor realised that all her family had cancer.